Hi guys, it's official. I'm back. It's been a while. There was a family bereavement, um, and I decided to take a couple of weeks out. I thought it was appropriate. Um, yeah, so I'm back. It's Football 11 24/7. Jamie Carter, your host. Thank you to all those people that have liked and subscribed so far and followed me. It's varied in size from 300 odd to whatever, like five or whatever. So it is what it is. But I'm going to go into the games that happened at the weekend, League One and League Two. Start off with League One, League Two, and obviously going to talk about what's happened in the World Cup so far. It's a bit of a catch up with that. There are other sites who have been doing more on it, but I'll do my take on it and what I think about what's happened so far in the World Cup. But yeah, we'll go straight into League One. League One at the start of the day, Plymouth was in the lead. Now, on the Friday night's games, there's a lot going on actually. There's been a few there's a few games on Friday just gone. Today is I believe the 6th of December. But yeah, Monday the 6th of December. But on the 2nd of December, that's when the fixture started for League One. Friday night's games, Bolton was at home to Bristol Rovers. Now, say Bolton would be favourites, but that game finished 1-all. An early goal by Bristol Rovers put them in the lead from Coburn on 2 minutes. Dion Charles equalised in the 90th minute, right near the end. You've got to be gutted if you're a Gas fan going to that game. So that finished 1-all. Charlton had a bit of a shocker against Cheltenham, but they haven't got a good record against Cheltenham in general. Charlton lost to a goal from Alfie May on the 84th minute, and Cheltenham won that one 1-0, obviously. Ipswich had a bit of a shocker as well at home to Fleetwood Town. Ipswich near the top of the table and line in second. They drew 1-all with Fleetwood though, so that meant that they couldn't jump to the top of the league. As on the same night, on the Friday night, Plymouth, who were top of the League One, they lost surprisingly 2-0 at home to Port Vale, who they don't have a good record against either in the last several games. Goals from Conlon and Wilson put Port Vale 2-0 to the good there and gave them a fantastic away win. Plus Plymouth's been a bit of a fortress this year. You know, they've played fantastic, obviously, to be top of League One. Playing some really good stuff, Plymouth, to be fair, until that night. Yeah, so that was one of the results on play on Friday night in League One. But to cap off Friday night's fixtures, Morecambe drew 1-all at home to Exeter, and Peterborough lost 2-1 at home to Barnsley, which was a tiny bit of a shock. Barnsley get back on track after a bit of a poor run of form. Looking at the top of going into actually onto Saturday's games in League One, Accrington were playing against Oxford. That game finished 1-all. Derby drew 0-0 with Sheffield Wednesday. Forest Green continued their little mini rivalry that they've got, winning 2-1 at home to Cambridge United. MK Dons drew 1-all with Burton Albion. Shrewsbury Town beat Lincoln City 2-0 on the Saturday. Yeah, so they were the results for in League One. And the League One table, as it looks at the moment, it's Plymouth still at the top with 43 points. Ipswich are in second with 42 points. You've got Sheffield Wednesday, who are lying in third with 41. Barnsley in fourth with 33. Bolton in fifth with 32. And Peterborough in the last playoff place with 30 points. So it's very, very tight, you know, between sixth and fourth place. You know, there can be a lot of jostling around. Who knows what if those teams will all be there at the end of it all of the season. But be interested to see what happens. But as I say, going down the bottom of the table in League One, Forest Green is still in the relegation zone, although they've had a couple of good wins in the last few games. MK Dons are then just behind them, and then you've got Burton Albion and Morecambe right at the very bottom. Just outside relegation zone, it's Fleetwood, Accrington, Stanley, and Cambridge that are making up the three teams just above that. So early days still. We're only like on average 20 games in. A few other teams have got games in hand, like they're either on 19 games played or down to 17 games, that kind of thing. So there's a bit of jostling around still to be had. You know, you're looking at another 20 odd plus games till the end of the season in League One. Be interested to see who finishes top. I think when you're looking at the table at the moment, it's a 3-all race between Plymouth, Ipswich Town, and Sheffield Wednesday. So all pretty big clubs. Ipswich and Sheffield Wednesday definitely expected to get out of League One. Plymouth are the surprise package, although I wouldn't say they're much of a surprise, considering that they've been in and around the playoffs in League One for the last few seasons. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see if it changes around. At the start of the season, I think I said Derby and Sheffield Wednesday to go up. Derby are just outside the playoffs. I wouldn't go far off that, saying that Sheffield Wednesday will be up there. I mean, I think Sheffield Wednesday might win the title, to be fair. So we'll see what happens anyway. But that's what's going on in League One. Going into League Two, well, there was one game in the Championship on Saturday, just gone. It was Sunderland against Millwall. Sunderland won 3-0. Goals from Diallo, Pritchard, and Elliot Sims Ellis Sims even on the 90th minute in front of a crowd of 37,000. I mean, 37,000 fans in League One is absolutely crazy. That shows you how much Sunderland fans love their team, whatever level they're playing at. But yeah, that's what's happening now. I believe that took Sunderland up to 10th in the Championship, so pretty good going for them. They're not far off the playoffs. I think they're like 4 points off, maybe, or something like that. So, be interested to see what happens. Whether Sunderland, can make a push to try and get in the Prem in the second half of the season. So we'll see what happens. But of course, all the fixtures will be being played back in full in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, we'll go on to League Two. League Two on the Friday night. Crewe was playing at home to Newport County. They lost 2-1 after taking the lead to Newport. Doncaster lost 2-0 at home to Walsall. Stevenage absolutely battered Barrow 5-0, which kept them in second place in the League Two table. Going into Saturday's games, AFC Wimbledon beat Grimsby 1-0. Carlisle United drew 1-0 with Sutton United. Crawley Town won 2-0 at home to Swindon Town. Gillingham lost 3-0 at home to Salford. Hartlepool equally got battered at home to Stockport 5-0. Leyton Orient stayed top, 5 points clear with a game in hand, beating Bradford City, who started the day in, I believe, fourth position. So that fourth position or something. So great result for Leyton Orient. That was in front of almost a sellout crowd for Leyton Orient. It was 8,671 people at that game. Kelman, James, and Satroyo, I can't even say his name properly, I think it's Greek. They all got on the score sheet for Leyton Orient, so that kept them top. Mansfield came from behind to beat Colchester United 2-1. Northampton scuppered a little bit at home to Tranmere, drawing 0-0. There was a few chances in there for the teams to win. Harrogate got a massive away win at Rochdale as well. So shout out to Harrogate, Stockport, and Salford, who absolutely battered the home opposition in their games. How it makes the table look basically in League Two is going to be like this basically. We're looking into League Two, and you've got, bear with me, got to go through my facts and figures. So yeah, as I say, Leyton Orient are still at the top. Stevenage are in second. And then looking at it underneath those two, you've got Northampton Town, who, like I say, dropped a few points against Tranmere at the weekend. In the playoff areas, it's Barrow, who got absolutely smashed by Stevenage, so that's not a great result for them. Carlisle United, Bradford City have dropped a bit after losing 3-0 at Orient, and Mansfield Town. Just outside the playoffs in League Two, you've got Salford City, Swindon, and Walsall. And then going into the relegation zone, the bottom two spots of League Two, it's Hartlepool right at the bottom and Gillingham just above. So, yeah, it's a bit of a tight one in League Two, but that's what's going on. But we've got a little bit more time today, as I say, because we're not covering so much Premiership or Championship like we would normally do because of the World Cup being on. So I'm going to just delve quickly into the Vanarama National Conference, which unfortunately one of my two teams, Scunthorpe, are playing in. And after the weekend's results, embarrassingly, we are bottom after getting smashed 4-1 by top of the table Notts County. We did go 1-0 up in the game. They've got new owners in Scunthorpe, so start something good, hopefully, for Scunny. Turn it around. It can't get any worse, surely. We're still about 7 points off getting out of the relegation zone, so it's still possible. There's still another 24 games to go for Scunny, so anything's possible. But yeah, they got smashed 4-1 at home to Notts County, so not great. Barnet beat Wealdstone 2-0. Bromley and Yeovil got abandoned after a fan had a heart attack and died, unfortunately. Dagenham had a surprising defeat at home to Torquay. Dagenham were 10th at the start of the day. Torquay were bottom of the table, and that's lifted Torquay to the top of the relegation places, if that makes any sense. There's the bottom four in the conference basically get relegated. As I say, Scunny's at the bottom, then it's Oldham, then it's Gateshead, then it's Torquay in the relegation zone. At the top, like I said, it's Notts County. Wrexham are in second, but they had a bit of a surprise draw. They were leading 1-0 away at York City, but York got an equaliser, I believe, on the 92nd minute, right near the end of the game, to basically make Wrexham change places with Notts County. So it's a bit of a battle between those two. There's only a point between the two of them after the weekend's game, so it's going to be very interesting to see which one out of possibly. I'm going to guess it's going to be the two of those that are going to get the title at the end of it all, because in the conference, only the top team gets promoted automatically, and then you've got a playoff system of 6 teams underneath that. But looking at some of the other games, Eastleigh won 1-0 at home to Bournemouth. Halifax Town beat Chesterfield 1-0, which was a good result for them, as Chesterfield are in the playoffs. Gateshead lost 2-0 at home to Aldershot. Maidenhead drew 1-0 with Dorking Wanderers. As I say, Scunny got battered 4-1 by Notts County at home. Solihull won 2-1 against Oldham. Southend drew 2-2 with Altrincham. And Woking beat Maidstone United 3-1. So, as I say, looking at the table, Notts County top. In second's Wrexham in the playoff area. Woking, Chesterfield, Barnet, Southend, and Solihull Moors make up the rest of the playoff area. So that's what's going on in the league. Well, one of the games in the league, in the Championship, League One and League Two games from the weekend, and what happened in the conference at the weekend. Big shout out to my local team, not far from me, Hornchurch. They are top of the Ishburn League at the moment, and they're absolutely flying. They won 2-0 away at Bowes and Pitsea. So that's what's going on with all that. But anyway, like I say, let's get back to the main focus, which is probably more important to most of the fans that watch this. Talking about the World Cup, there's been so many shocks, there's been so many twists and turns. It's been absolutely crazy. As I say, though, the cream usually rises to the top. I don't want to be cocky and biased, but as an England fan, being English, obviously being born here, England won 3-0 spectacularly against Senegal last night. Senegal didn't seem to put up much of a fight, but I think it wasn't that. I think it was just the way the players played was fantastic. They played with no fear. Senegal had a few chances in the first sort of 25, 30 minutes of the game, but I always just felt like we were going to do, be comfortable. As England fans in general, you're talking to people out and about when I'm about daily life and stuff. They're quite pessimistic against Southgate. They're quite putting him down. One or two have said he's a school teacher, all this kind of stuff. And I just laugh because inside and outside, because I say to him, best manager we've ever had. Alf Ramsey, yeah, he won the World Cup, sure, but after that, he didn't do much. So I feel, if Southgate, we've got to play France now in the quarterfinals. That's coming up on Saturday. Obviously, everyone's expecting us to get beaten by France because they're previous world champions in 2018, the last tournament that was held in Russia for the World Cup. But I think we beat France. I think we're looking at doing something spectacular that like I say, we haven't done since '66. And I want us to actually win it because I'm fed up of us banging on about '66. I'm fed up of all the West Ham fans around here saying about, oh, West Ham won the World Cup. There was other players on the pitch, guys. Come on. Even our rocking the West Ham top today that made it possible. So, here's what it is, but we've got to win it. I think we beat France, we win it. But looking at today's games, there's 2 games in the quarterfinals. We're at the quarterfinal stages of the World Cup. We're in this last 16. Sorry, should I say at the moment? But I'm going to go through some of the results in general. Brazil's playing Korea today. My prediction for Brazil against Korea, I'm going for Brazil to win that one 2-1. It's a bit of a narrow one to say it. I think the Koreans will put up a bit of a fight, but I think Brazil will have too much for them. So 2-1 for Brazil against Korea today. And the other game in the round of the last 16 is Japan against Croatia. and I think that will go into extra time, and I think Croatia will win that one in extra time too. Probably go for 3-2 Croatia in extra time. So that's what I'm going for in those games. Tomorrow there's the last two games of the round of 16. It's Morocco against Spain and Portugal against Switzerland. I'm going to go for Morocco to just lose narrowly to Spain 2-1. And I'm going to go for Portugal and Switzerland to draw 2-2 after extra time. And I'm going to go for Switzerland to surprise Portugal and beat them on penalties. So that's what I'm going for in that one. So that's my predictions for the last four games of the round of 16. Teams that have already qualified for the quarterfinals: Holland and Argentina, who face each other on this Friday coming up at 7 o'clock in the evening. And obviously, France and England have both got. They face each other on Saturday, this Saturday at 7 o'clock as well. So they're the two that are through at the moment. If my predictions go the way that I think it should be, and if it goes right according to plan, Croatia will be playing Brazil in the other quarterfinal, and Spain will be playing Switzerland in the last of the quarterfinals. So, be interesting to see. I'll probably get it wrong. Japan will probably beat Croatia, and Morocco will beat Spain, and Portugal will beat Switzerland, and just can't see Korea beating Brazil. But I'd say Brazil, one I've probably got right. Maybe not the score, but the fact that they'll win. But anything can happen in this World Cup. And talking of the crazy things that have happened, most people know about them, but I'm just going to say it for the people that don't know. We've had some absolutely shocking results. Japan have been on fire. They beat, in their group stage, they beat Germany after being 1-0 down with 15 minutes to go, 2-1. They beat Spain 2-1. They lost mentally to Costa Rica, which is absolutely crazy. Costa Rica got smashed in their first game 7-0 in the group stage by Spain, but then managed to pull themselves off the canvas and win 1-0 against Japan, who had beaten Germany. So this World Cup has been absolutely, absolutely mental. Argentina lost their first game against Saudi Arabia after being 1-0 up 2-1. There's been so many crazy, crazy scorelines. Belgium didn't qualify out of their group. They lost 2-0 against Morocco, which was absolutely insane. It was just crazy. Belgium, in the game that they did win, the 1-0, it was narrow against Canada, and they were just really, really shocking. But the Belgian squad is an aging squad. There are some at least one world-class player in the Belgian team, which is obviously Kevin De Bruyne, who plays for Manchester City. But he's surrounded by a lot of old boys now, by the looks of it all, players that are not as good as they used to be, let's put it that way. Other surprises, so Japan was probably a massive surprise to finish top of their table. You would have thought it would have been Spain or Germany. So yeah, the Germans got knocked out. The Argentinians did get through. The Belgians went home. So Germany and the Belgians are probably the massive surprises that didn't qualify for the last 16. Looking at some of the other results, there was a few other shocking things that happened. At one point, it looked actually like Spain and Costa Rica were going to go out. Spain and Germany were going to go out. But Costa Rica, they were 2-1 up at one point, but Germany fought back and won 4-2, even though they didn't qualify because of that. So, absolutely crazy. Towards the end of the France's group, although they'd already qualified, they played a second string team. They lost 1-0 to Tunisia, which was a tiny bit of a shock, but they did have a second string team out, so I don't think it's as shocking as Belgium and Germany not qualifying, and also those other results that I've mentioned. So that's pretty much what's gone on in the World Cup. As I say, at the start of the tournament, I said if England couldn't win it, I thought Holland would win it. I'll still stick by that. If England don't get past France, I'm still going to go for Holland, although everyone will go for France if France beat us on Saturday. The odds are in France's favour just because they're former champions and because on paper they look like they've got a slightly better squad. But I feel that England have enough in them to do that. And I won't make predictions until the full quarter-final is complete, and that will be after the next couple of days' games. I'll be back on here in 2 days to talk more about the World Cup and all that kind of stuff. But thank you for tuning in. I appreciate all those that are liking and subscribing and getting behind me. I'm going to put a ton of other videos out, not just all about football. There'll be a mixture of different things. So yeah, just like and subscribe. Get all your friends and family involved, and yeah, we can make something good from all this. And have a great week, whatever team you support. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do another episode not long after this one. It's going to concentrate on the fixtures coming up for this weekend in the football, and I'm going to give some predictions on how I think it's going to pan out for the Championship, League One, League Two, and I'm possibly have a little dip in at the conference, seeing as unfortunately it affects one of my teams now. So have a great week. This has been Football 11 24/7. I've been your host, Jamie Carter. Bye for now.